Tonight on Air Rescue, the tanker can't stop.
Authority. Okay, back right's coming open.
An extreme mission with no margin for error.
Come out the door and dangling. Bend him down a little bit. Hold him there.
Mystery on the farm.
And it's just swung round and both back feet came out and whack.
No memory means a difficult diagnosis.
Do you remember being kicked?
And at just 16 years old, a young champion pushes the limits.
Yeah. Come off the white, come down the hill. Yeah. The white's come over here in the back.
Will a third spinal injury end her career? The Air Rescue Service runs 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. But for the morning crew, it's one crisis at a time. Focus is crucial.
This guy's received face injuries. They're 13 nautical miles off Diamond Beach. Now, MRU are saying this guy is not critical and to risk assess whether it's worth the risk versus gain to get him off.
Well, how bad are his face injuries? That's the only thing. Are they life-threatening?
No.
Well, let's not do it.
Well, the only other thing is, we go there. If it's no good, come home.
True. We can give it a go.
Finding the vessel in open water is tricky enough, but boarding an unstable ship's deck is downright dangerous.
You might be able to put down beside this crane, but then you've got the structure up here that you've got to worry about.
Gandhi's the pilot in charge today, so the decision whether to fly or not rests with him.
Unfortunately, this ship does not have a heli deck on it, so we can't land, which means we're going to have to winch one of our guys on board.
Would you hoist me down out here with my hand signals? I'll call it short, then move across and then dump.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're all happy just to go out there and have a look?
Decision made. The flight crew prepares for the mission.
My last 3 winch jobs, I've been the hoist operator. So this is my first one, especially onto a ship for probably over a year or so.
Todd Mulville knows that winching is one of the riskiest manoeuvres on any mission. But today, it's the only option.
Hey, Woolworth shop control with this thing.
And being a water job, every contingency has to be covered.
We've got to have a raft for us, the crew, in case something happens and we end up in the water.
Westpac 2 is in the air, en route to a motorbike crash.
There's a guy waving here in this second paddock, sitting on a bike in the middle of the field. Just got power lines running across there.
Yeah, got it.
So they want us to land towards the west of the thing.
For veteran crewman Danny Morris, it's something he sees far too often.
We get called out frequently to motocross dirt bike type accidents, and more often than not they are younger people, and the injuries are usually a lot worse, say, than football or horse riding.
Might be a bit slopey.
Okay, you're clear to descend right and behind. And move forward 10. Northern Control, Westpac 2 landing on scene.
The accident has happened at the Australian Off-Road Championships, a major meet for Australia's motocross elite. Lead flight paramedic David Reed is the first on the ground.
You step by the ambulance right through there?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Oh, g'day.
How you going, Wayne?
Good thing.
G'day.
G'day, mate.
This is Alicia. She's
Yep.
16. She come off by hitting a tree head on with a freight face on with a helmet.
Okay.
And her head went backwards.
Yeah.
She has lower back pain. We've only just put it together that
Yeah.
she's actually had 2 impacts and she only remembers one.
Okay, all right.
So, but with the second one, she actually rode back herself.
Alicia's dad John saw the second and most worrying fall.
Now, what was the second impact that we talked about?
Come off the white, come down the hill. Yeah. The white's come over here in the back.
Just had a tangle with the bike. Okay, all right. So what do you remember, Alicia? Do you remember hitting the tree the first time?
I was crashing and as I went down, my neck hit, my head hit one side and my shoulders on the other.
And you remember that?
Yeah,
and you remember that? And you remember getting back on the bike to ride back here?
I remember I couldn't see properly.
You couldn't see properly?
Why? Really slowly to make sure that I could get back.
Why couldn't you see properly? Was your...
Everything was blurry and I had a headache.
Okay.
Impact injuries can often lead to internal complications that are difficult to diagnose.
She didn't get knocked out straight away, but there's a very real possibility of a very slow bleed inside her head, which can take minutes through to hours to manifest.
So where's your most pain, darling? Down here? Or in your back? Okay. I'm just going to have a listen to your breathing. We'll give you something else for the pain in a minute.
Alicia is struggling to hold back tears.
What's the matter, Alicia? What, are you just upset that you had an accident? I'm just trying to find out why you're crying, darling.
My legs feel...
Sorry?
My legs feel funny.
Everybody describes funny as different. There could be numb, tingling, any of those things. We have a fair concern with that.
Okay. Lift your arm up.
Because the bike has landed on her back, she may have sustained a spinal injury.
Coming up, far from shore,
Clear the hoist.
Clear to hoist.
further from safety,
Approaching the deck there now.
Air Rescue's most extreme mission. And dazed and in danger.
He can't remember, see? He doesn't know what's happened to him.
Amnesia or serious brain injury.
Is it big hooves?
At the Australian Off-Road Championships, veteran paramedic David Reed is preparing a teenage motocross champion for airlift.
Alicia, I want you to put your arms across your chest, and I don't want you to try and help us, all right? It's gonna feel funny. There'll be a board slide in underneath you.
Paramedics are worried that Alicia may have spinal damage. A special piece of kit will help keep her stable for the flight.
It's a vacuum mat. So what that does, you'll see in a minute, it's full of polystyrene beads. And they're about to suck all the air out. And what that does, it conforms that stretcher that she's in to all the body contours. So it fills in the hollows of the cervical and the lumbar spine and that sort of thing.
Use the Guntari, then down to John.
So the John's the best place for her. It's all precaution, mate, but that's, and they're fully immobilised and everything else. So.
For now, Alicia's race is over.
Alicia has informed us that this is the third time that she's hurt her neck from a motocross accident.
Everybody ready? 1, 2, 3.
Some people would say that's pretty silly. I say, well, okay, I understand that you love riding motorbikes. I feel the same. I've come off my bike and I got injured, but I'm back on it again. I would say, though, that with a neck injury, probably 3 times lucky, I'm thinking she's probably starting to run out of luck, so maybe she might need to have a rethink of a career path.
I love you, darling. I'll see you at the hospital, okay?
I think it is.
With an injured sailor 20 kilometres out to sea, the air rescue crew are preparing for a dangerous mission over open ocean.
What are we still thinking about this patient?
Well, he's still walking wounded. They said he does not require a stretcher, and they confirmed that he's only got the facial injuries.
The man's injuries don't sound life-threatening, but winching down onto a moving tanker like this can be.
I'm pretty confident that's that ship because there's the crane in the middle.
Aramed Westpac 2, we've located the ship.
Stopping the ship is not an option. Boarding a stationary vessel wallowing at sea is too unsafe because the landing deck becomes slippery and unstable.
Okay guys, what we'll do is we'll come down to 500 feet, check the deck and everything. We'll have a good look at it before we rush into it. Wind should be cross deck, which is ideal for us. So if we do winch onto the quarterdeck camo, I'll keep the bridge on my side. I'll be facing east, which is ideal for us.
With plans made, it's time to retrieve the injured patient. Todd and paramedic Sean prepare for the hoist.
Hoist power's coming on. Confirm our cable cut authority.
You have cable cut authority.
For any rescue team, this is the ultimate test of skill, nerve, and experience.
There's always a little sort of, your gut tightens up a little bit, especially when Pete brings that door back. The air comes into the cabin and you sort of start to think we're getting on with it.
Okay, bring Scott over here, maintain, Gandy. Clear the hoist.
Clear to hoist.
Okay, this hoist's good maintained, sitting here very nicely. Got them out the door and dangling, and just going to put them straight down. Weights on, going down. Okay, have a thumbs up. And just going past the skids nice and gently.
As Todd and Sean are lowered onto the ship by winch operator Pete Cummings, Gandy has to keep the chopper at exactly the right position.
It's actually testing the pilot skills just to keep the aircraft over the hover mark for the boys.
Keep moving right, 15.
And it tests their skills as well.
Okay, keep moving right, 10. Approaching the deck there now.
Dangling by a wire, buffeted by high winds, with their lives in pilot Gandy's hands, Todd and Sean have to be dropped on a dime, on a constantly moving target. The slightest mishap could be fatal. Coming up, no memory and no pain.
I don't know whether the horse has kicked him in the head or the fence has done it.
Unraveling a medical mystery.
You can't remember where you were kicked?
Maintain this height and hover, we're sitting here very nicely still. 10 signals, you go down.
To rescue an injured sailor, air crewman Todd and paramedic Sean have to land on a few square metres of a rapidly moving ship.
Keep moving right, 5. Keep moving right, 3. On the deck there now. On the deck. Disconnecting themselves. Have a thumbs up, lefty hook's coming up, you clear, move left. Moving left. Okay.
On deck, the injured crewman is already standing by.
Hello there. Do you speak English?
Rajanfer, an engineer, slipped and smashed his nose in the engine bay.
Just have a nose injury? Do you have any pain to your neck? The shoulder?
Without medical attention, the broken bone and cartilage could become infected.
We gotta put a strap under here and we lift up like this. When you go into the helicopter, you get down on your bottom, crawl in the helicopter, yeah?
As the crew prep for the return winch, it appears this is one case where the complexity and danger of the extraction overshadows the medical care required.
Very nice, you've got the strap over the survivor, hooking up the paramedic. Back, okay, clear the deck and you...
But what no one knows just yet is that Rajanfer is suffering from concussion.
Mate, this bloke's just got a smack on the nose, there's nothing wrong with him. And just going to turn around.
With paramedic Sean and the patient safely on board, it's time to winch Todd back up off the ship.
Weights coming on, weights on, clear the hoist.
Clear the hoist.
There's so many things that can go wrong with the hoist. And not only with the hoist, but the aircraft. If the aircraft has any sort of engine failure, you know, we pretty much end up in the drink.
Turning around.
There's nothing underneath me but a blood ocean. I always get that little sensation, just get me up.
Plane coming inboard.
You ride that wave of adrenaline right up until you get back on board the aircraft and you know things are safe.
A risky mission safely accomplished.
The guys did a great job. Gandy with holding the hover over a moving vessel, Pete with his ability to operate the hoist there and back, so it was a really good team effort.
As Westpac 2 arrives back at the base, it's clear that being an air rescue crewman is far more than just a career.
Todd was very brave. He went down the wire with me hoisting.
You can talk about it all you want, but not many people really understand the feeling and the adrenaline and the reward that we go through when you get back from a job like this.
It's always great to get a hoist, something different. It's what I love about the job.
And I've always said it, as long as my family, my work peers and my wife are proud of me, that's all I need.
A new day brings another call for help. An elderly farmer has received a nasty kick to the head by a horse.
Okay.
The crew of Westpac 2 are waiting to hear if they're needed to pick him up.
Still a lift off, still a lift off.
Initially they called us off, and then the car on scene still want us because you still got to decrease LOC.
Pilot Ian Osborne is no stranger to accidents on farms.
We attend far more accidents that are caused by livestock than we do farm equipment. Probably a ratio around 10 to 1.
Secure on the right. Set left. Thank you. TDP takeoff brief.
On takeoff, the patient's decreased LOC, or level of consciousness, is setting off alarm bells.
Patient is a 77-year-old male kicked in the chest, arm and leg by a horse. He's hit his head on a rail of a fence when he's fallen. He's got a hematoma to the forehead, laceration to the knee and swelling above the eye, career closed head injury, and also has some neck pain.
The long list of symptoms and injuries are severe. Paramedic Dave Parker prepares for the worst.
Animals have a mind of their own. Machinery you've got control over, whereas animals you don't have. They're quite unpredictable.
We'll come up the road and then into that paddock where you were standing, so just so we don't overflow the horses.
Yep. 25 to run.
Clear straight down.
Right to go?
Yeah, right to go.
The patient, 77-year-old John, is already in the care of ambos on the ground. His wife, Elaine, passes on what she knows.
I'd already caught the horse and he walked into the yard, took the leader off me, and I said, be careful, it kicks, and he just pulling it round and it's just swung round and both back feet came out and whack. And he just hit the fence. We don't know whether the horse has kicked him in the head or the fence has done it, but he can't remember, see, he doesn't know what's happened to him.
How are you feeling now, mate? You got any pain up in here? No? Bob said you had some in your neck. Can't remember? All right. You can't remember where you were kicked?
No.
Do you remember being kicked?
No.
Was it a big horse?
I'm not sure.
Not sure? What were you doing before you got kicked? Do you remember that?
No, not really.
John was knocked out by the impact, is clearly confused and can't remember what happened. It's a worrying combination. Coming up.
Horses, stay away from them.
Could this be the early stages of a serious brain injury?
When he gets cuts or things like that, he goes into shock.
A run-in with a young horse has left Farmer John with a loss of memory and possible brain damage. The team needs information, and fast.
Big deep breath. And again. Doesn't hurt anywhere. No new pain in here. What about in there? Nothing in there? All right. What about in your hips? No pain in here? No?
I imagine this gentleman's been riding horses all his life, but you know, they're unpredictable. There's something I don't touch. Horses, motorbikes, quad bikes. Stay away from them.
With John's loss of memory and dazed state, clear diagnosis is proving tricky.
I'm going to feel down your back. If anything hurts, you let me know. Any pain through there? You're going to tell us the truth too, aren't you? Is he wincing?
No. Just got his eyes closed.
Okay. On three. 1, 2, 3.
Paramedic Dave needs to understand how the injuries actually happened.
Where did it actually hit him?
All I know is the horse swung round and both back feet come up and hit him, and it just flung him to the other side. I mean, the round yard's not very big, and the rails are about this wide steel.
Steel rails.
So we don't know whether he's hit his head on the rail, but the horse got him with both back feet.
Okay.
And it could have got him in the head, or it could be the rail. And he does go into shock. When he gets cuts or things like that, he goes into shock.
Doesn't handle pain real well.
He handles pain too well, and he doesn't tell you when he's in pain. He won't admit it.
This is one situation where John's high pain threshold is not an advantage.
Just keep your head nice and still. Obviously you got no neck pain. No.
Without a gauge, paramedic Dave can't be certain how serious John's injuries are.
Any sort of head injury is significant, but The head injuries in elderlies, because most of them are on blood thinners, and they tend to bleed a lot easier. And bleeding on the brain in elderly patients is more significant than in younger people.
You'll expect me to pick him up this evening, you know.
Yeah,
You'll say, make sure you're there tonight to pick me up.
Yeah. People from the land, they just don't complain, and I don't think she realises how serious he could be. And in fact, he's thinking he's going to be home tomorrow, and that won't be the case.
The combination of dangerous symptoms and difficult diagnoses
Northern Control, Westpac 2's airborne from Glen Riding for the John Hunter.
means the crew will take him to neurospecialists at the nearest major hospital. Next week on Air Rescue,
Westpac, patient is still unconscious.
searching for a critical patient trapped at sea.
Police launch is out of the question, they're 40 minutes away.
A country crisis for the paramedics
Rolled it right over and come onto its side.
as a teenage joyrider is flung from a crashing car.
Where's that hurting?
He understands more English than he speaks.
And the unluckiest tourist,
one of the branches snapped, jolted him and knocked him.
struck down by a freak of nature.